To anticipate is to be on the path to destruction. Today's wisdom comes from the Huainanzi, which is a 1st century BCE text from China that is basically a textbook on how to be a wise and sagacious ruler. And so it's a wonderful piece of work that I'm just starting. And so I'll read to you from section 111, and then I'll end with a little commentary about how I find this helpful in my own life. So, to anticipate the right moment and initiate is the road to ruin. To follow is the source of success. How do I know this is so? For most people, through a lifespan of about 70 years until they reach their death, they pursue things and then reject them. They divide them up and then reassemble them, and daily they regret what they are doing. Thus, Ku Boyu, who was a famously wise and humane king, at age 50 had criticized himself for 49 of his years. Why? Because those who anticipate have a hard time acting with wisdom, but those who follow have an easy time acting efficaciously. When those who anticipate climb up high, those who follow will pull them down. When those who anticipate climb down, those who follow will jump over them. When those who anticipate fall into a pit, those who follow will take counsel from this. When those who anticipate accumulate defeats, those who follow will avoid them. What we call following does not mean being stagnant and not developing, or being congealed and not flowing. It is rather to value being able to revolve according to the norms and unite with the right moment. Now, those who grasp the patterns of the way and become companions of alterations, their anticipation governs what follows, and their following after governs what they anticipated. What is the reason for this? They do not lose what they use to govern others, the patterns of the way, and so others cannot govern them. So, the reason I find this helpful is because when I was a young man, I spent a bunch of time rolling stuff over in my head. And if this happens, I can do this, whether it be in my writing or in my course of actions in my life, in business. And maybe that was good for that age, but now I'm in my 40s. And generally, when a situation arises, I know right away from my gut what to do. And so I don't need to sit here and think, if he replies this email this way, then I'm going to do this. But if they jump this way, I'm going to do this. I don't need to think about it. Now, as someone who works for themselves and sends out a lot of pitches and contracts and things like that, once I send my pitch to somebody, the best thing I can do is drop it completely from my mind. Because if they don't get back to me, that's fine. If they don't think I'm great, then they're not someone who is going to be a good fit for me anyway. And I don't need to anticipate what their reaction might be. I can just react once I see what they actually did. And this applies to so much of your life. So much of it, we can spend our time guessing about what other people might do in the future or might think about and things like that. But life is a chess game, and you can wait until the person makes their move and then decide what you're going to do next. In chess, you try to plan ahead when it's your move. But when it's not your move, you can sit there and relax until it is your turn and then decide based on the new data what makes sense. So that's why this idea of anticipating and worrying about the future can be a way to find a much more simple life where you react in the moment with your gut and find the patterns of the way.